Which endorsement is required to drive a combination vehicle with air brakes? A. General knowledge plus L. Air brakes. You must hold both the general knowledge and air brakes endorsements. Let's continue. What is the proper sequence for a pre-trip inspection of a combination vehicle? Tractor, trailer, coupling devices. Inspect the tractor first, then the trailer, then the coupling points. Moving on. How far ahead should you signal before changing lanes? At least 100 feet. Early signaling gives other drivers time to react. Here's another. When backing a combination vehicle, the first movement of the steering wheel should direct the trailer in the direction you want the trailer to go. This initial input sets the trailer on the correct path. Up next, what is off-tracking? Trailer wheels cutting inside the tractor's path. On tight turns, the trailer tracks inside the tractor's line. Onwards. When coupling the fifth wheel, you must ensure the locking jaws fully close around the kingpin. Proper jaw closure prevents the trailer from separating. Keep it going. How often must you test the low air warning signal? Every trip before driving, test at the start of each trip to ensure you get a warning before 60 psi. Now for this one. During a service brake test, air loss must not exceed 4 psi per minute on single vehicles. Excessive leakage indicates an air system leak needing repair. Check this out. What does tandem refer to on a combination vehicle? Two axles close together under the trailer. Tandem axles share the load and improve weight distribution. Time for another. To prevent a jackknife, you should apply the tractor brakes before the trailer brakes. This helps keep the trailer aligned behind the tractor. Continuing on, what is the maximum allowable steering wheel play before a trip? 10 degrees, 2 inches on a 20-inch wheel. Too much play makes steering sluggish and unsafe. Let's go on. When should you remove the safety pin before coupling? After lowering the landing gear and engaging the fifth wheel. Removing it too early risks unintended movement. Let's keep going. How far should the kingpin be inserted into the fifth wheel locking jaws? To the locking position, past the jaws. Proper insertion ensures the locking mechanism fully engages. On to the next. What is the purpose of the trailer air supply control knob? To charge trailer air tanks and release emergency brakes. It controls airflow to the trailer and resets its brakes. Ready for more. When draining air tanks manually, you should do so. At the end of each day's driving, this removes moisture that can freeze or corrode the system. Stay tuned. What psi range is normal operating pressure for most air brake systems? 100 to 125 psi. This pressure range ensures reliable brake operation. Now consider, how do you test the spring brakes on a combination vehicle? Fan off air until spring brakes engage. This simulates low pressure conditions to check spring brake activation. Check this out. What is the emergency airline color? Red. Red glad hands connect to the trailer emergency brake circuit. Next up, what is the service airline color? Blue glad hands connect to the service brake circuit. Onwards. Before uncoupling, you must chock trailer wheels and shut off trailer air supply. This secures the trailer and releases its brakes. Moving on, when uncoupling, the trailer landing gear must be on firm level ground. Proper ground prevents the trailer from tipping. Let's continue. What is the minimum tread depth for front tires on a combination vehicle? 430 half-inch. Adequate tread is essential for steering control. Here's another. What is the minimum tread depth for rear tires? 230 half-inch. Drive and trailer tires must meet this minimum for traction. Now for this one, what does wet tank refer to? Air tank mounted on the wet tank of the tractor. It stores compressed air before the dryer and protection valves. Let's go on. How can you prevent wheel lockup on slippery surfaces? Use controlled braking and ABS if equipped. Gentle, steady pressure helps maintain traction. On to the next. What is the maximum height allowed without special permits? 13 feet 6 inches. Anything taller requires an oversized permit. Up next, what is the maximum width allowed without special permits? 8 feet 6 inches. Wider loads need proper routing and permitting. Keep it going. What is the maximum length allowed without special permits for a single vehicle? 40 feet. Longer vehicles require special authorization. Here's another. What does a Class A CDL allow you to drive? Any combination vehicle over 26,001 pounds GVWR. Class A covers all vehicle combinations when the towed unit exceeds 10,000 pounds. Continuing on. What does GVWR stand for? Gross Vehicle Weight Rating. It's the maximum loaded weight specified by the manufacturer. Time for another. How often must you inspect cargo securement while en route? Every 150 miles or every 3 hours? Regular checks ensure the load hasn't shifted. Let's keep going. What is the minimum number of tie downs required for cargo? 1 tie down for every 10 feet of cargo length. This ensures adequate load restraint. Next question. How far back must reflective triangles be placed during a roadside stop? 10 feet, 100 feet, and 200 feet from the rear. This placement warns approaching drivers at increasing distances. Moving ahead, what is the maximum allowable seepage from a cargo tank? 1 drop per minute per valve, fitting, or seam. Minor seepage is allowed, but significant leaks are not. Here's another. How often must you perform a walk-around inspection before driving each trip? A pre-trip walk-around catches obvious defects. On to the next. When entering a curve, you should slow down before entering the curve. Maintaining speed in the curve increases rollover risk. Keep this in mind. What is the function of the tractor protection valve? Protects tractor air if the trailer emergency line breaks. It closes to isolate the tractor's brake system. Let's continue. What should you do if you smell air in the cab while driving? Stop and check for air leaks. Air in the cabin indicates a brake system issue. Moving on. How do you check for power steering fluid leaks? Look for puddles under steering gear. Visible leaks signal a need for repair. Here's another. When coupling, what is the correct position of the fifth wheel? Slightly greased and locked in the center position. Proper greasing and centering ensure safe coupling. Next up, during a pre-trip, you notice cracked brake hoses. You should report and replace before driving. Compromised hoses can cause brake failure. Let's continue. What is the correct method to test the hand valve on a combination vehicle? Apply the trailer brakes and check for air loss. This confirms the trailer emergency brakes activate. Up next, how far before a turn should you downshift on a downhill grade? Before starting down the grade, early downshifting uses engine braking to control speed. Keep it going. What is the first step in emergency braking? Apply brakes without locking wheels. Controlled application preserves steering control. Here's another. What does a delay valve do? Holds brake application to reduce jackknife risk. It delays air to the trailer brakes for smoother stops. Moving on, how often must automatic slack adjusters be checked? During each pre-trip, even automatic adjusters need inspection to confirm operation. Next question, what must you do if a fire extinguisher is missing from your vehicle? Replace it before driving. Missing safety equipment is a violation. Let's keep going. What is the minimum performance rating for a required fire extinguisher? 10 C. This rating covers flammable liquid and electrical fires. Here's another. When should you use the spring brakes in an emergency? When all air is lost and service brakes fail. Spring brakes automatically apply when pressure is insufficient. On to the final one. What should you do if your vehicle overheats on a long grade? Stop in a safe area and let it cool. Continuing with an overheated engine can cause severe damage.